project. Oh, is it recording? No, it's recording. All right, basically you got SolidWorks open. What you want to do is start a new drawing, a new part. So you go up here to that white tab, new part, click OK. And you guys are used to it since this is an advanced course. Of course, it takes a while. And what we're going to do is we're going to design that one. We're going to call this Lab1A. So this is 1A, the top one, and the second one's going to be 1B. So the idea of calling them Lab1A and B, this is just going to be a warm-up since you guys already know SolidWorks, but since some of you guys took it in spring or earlier, you guys need a refresher. This will be the day for the refresher. So basically what we want to do is go to Sketch. We select Sketch, we select the top plane. From there, we're going to draw a, actually just use lines this time. Lines from origin. So make sure that highlights. We're going to go horizontally, vertically. Oops, is that vertical? If it's not vertical, you can see it's kind of angled. You can select it and make vertical. So that has an attribute. Do the same thing on the other side. And we're going to do a arc. So to do an arc, you go.
You're in the top plane or the front?
Top plane. Yes. You can even see it over here. It's kind of activated. So it's like highlighted on top plane.
Okay.
So we go to a 3-point arc. So under the center point arc, there's the 3-point arc. I'm going to select the end point here, end point here. I'm going to scroll it up until I feel it snaps the center point to that horizontal dashed line. Once we have the basic sketch set up, you gotta start putting in the dimensions. So we go to Smart Dimensioning. We select that horizontal bottom line. Change that to 2 inches. Now, if your units are not 2 inches, that may be an issue, and we can change that right off the bat. We go to our File Properties. Oh no, sorry, not File Properties. Our Options. Options, Document Properties. So again, Options here, Document Properties. There's Units, and you change it to IPS, or inches, pounds, seconds. And you click OK. So we have that. Next part is our vertical line is actually 3.5 inches. I'm getting those numbers from the PDF, so you can see 3.5 to the center of that circle or the arc, and the 2 inches here. So we're going to type in 3.5, and something like that. So now it's fully defined. You can see that it's completely black, and there is no negative sign next to our sketch here. We're also going to, of course, you can add the circle now, or you can add the circle later by subtracting it out. It's an additional step, but if your part is very complicated and you don't want to be connected one with the other, you might want to do it separately. It's all really your preference. And but for this one, for this sketch, it's just a simple part. We'll just draw the circle in right now. So what we want to do is go to our circle command. Select our center of the arc, which is that point right there, and we can select it like any size you want, as long as it's smaller than the arc, or you can go bigger. Doesn't matter, because we're going to go to our Smart Dimensioning. We're going to select that circle, and it's going to be asking for a diameter. The diameter is actually 2. Or actually, oh, that's the arc. 3 times 8. Oh, it's only 1. Okay, so based on the PDF, you can see that that is A, diameter of A, which is 1. There's three of these. That's why there's a 3x. So I can edit that by double-clicking on the dimension. It's like clicking and typing in 1. And you are done with your sketch. So that's our base sketch. I'm going to pause for now. Alright, once we have that 2D sketch, what we can do is go to our Features command or tab, and we're going to use the Extrude Boss Base. So if I have my sketch selected, it's going to be automatically selecting it as an extrude option. If you don't have it selected, I'm not sure why SolidWorks does this. I mean, I think it would be a little bit smarter if it just automatically, you only have one sketch. What else are you going to extrude? But that's how it works. So keep that in. That's why. You're better off just selecting the sketch, going to extrude, because if otherwise it's going to extrude either the extrude line or the circle. And we're going up 1/2 inch, so 0.5. So in here, you just can type it in. It goes directly into that location. You don't have to click on it, because that's every click is an extra second, and that just adds up. You'll see that your bosses will be like, how can we improve you? How can we save 5 minutes a day? That's how intense it gets sometimes, which is very stressful.
One thing I noticed from working with this, if you edit a sketch, it won't come up automatically.
What do you mean?
In other words, if you do a sketch.
Alright, so we're going to do a blind, 1/2 inch up. There's no taper, so we just click OK. So we have that, and our next step will be to draw on this face here, or surface. Sorry if I'm mixing up words, because AutoCAD calls it something different and SolidWorks calls it different. So sometimes I'll have that little problem like extrude, boss face, and the other one's just extrude. And then there's an extrude cut here. I call it subtract because I dealt with AutoCAD and it always calls it subtract. But I guess they didn't want to use that word. Okay, so basically we have that. All we want to do is go back to Sketch tab. I'm going to start a sketch, but this time instead of selecting a plane, we're going to select a surface. So the surface is going to be right here, so you can see highlighted. So you select that, and that's going to be pretty much our drawing plane, if you want to call it that way. And we're going to create this arc and vertical lines. Now we've got to do a little math. If you want to do math, I recommend it. If you don't want to do math, there's an easier way of doing this, but we're going to draw a line that's vertical. We're going to dimension it out. So I need the top of this line to be 1.5 inches. So from 0 to the center of the circle, it's 1.5. And I already have the thickness, so I can do the math in my head easily, 1 inch. Or you can type it in. Well, I have 1.5 and I already have 0.5 for the thickness, and it just does it for itself. I mean, once it gets complicated, it's useful, but when it's easy like that, you're wasting time just typing it out. Okay, and our next step would be, since we don't know the exact location of the second line, we need to draw a construction line. To get to construction line, you go back to your line command. From there, you change it to center line. Oh, wait, I guess the center line, which is also a construction line. Select that. We're going to draw a line across horizontally from that endpoint. And I'm going to just select anywhere. We're going to dimension it out. You don't have to dimension it every time you draw something. You can just draw it all out and then dimension it out. It's also based on your preference. And our diameter, or our distance, will be actually 2 inches. That's based upon, based on the drawing. It shows a radius of 1. So from radius 1 plus 1 equals 2. So we go 2, and click OK. Have that, we can draw another line going downwards, and snaps on to our edge right there from our extrude. From there, we go back to our 3-point arc. If you don't have it here, hit that arrow next to it. 3-point arc. Select endpoint, endpoint, and again, if you move it up, you'll see it kind of snap onto the horizontal line and create like a blue dashed line. That's where you want to click it. That way it understands that you are selecting that and snapping onto that horizontal. So you can see it's all defined. You don't have to put anything additional information into it. In addition to this, you already have the center point of where our cutout will be. So we're going to draw a circle here. Dimension it out, and our dimensions are 1 inch for the circles, like so. So one thing is you can't really extrude it yet because it's not completely enclosed. We are missing that one line down here. So I have to actually go back to this sketch. So I go right click on my sketch, edit sketch, and there's two ways we can do this. We can just draw a line connecting these 2 points, or we can convert this edge into a line and trim it. It's an additional step, but it gets you some practice. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to go to convert entities. That allows me to select edges that are converted into lines and click OK. And I use the trim command to trim off this access right here. And I do that by going to trim and just drawing I just trimmed it off. Trim and just drawing a line like I was cutting it where I wanted to cut. It's pretty unique.
Mike calls it the weed whacker.
Weed whacker? That's cool. You can call it the weed whacker. Okay, so once you have this, what we do is you can hit the check mark, or you can actually go just into features and extrude it. That way you don't have to do 2 steps. Again, I'm really into trying to be most proficient because it does reduce time as you add it on. Okay, make sure you're going the right direction. You can select the arrow, making it go the direction you want, or you can use the reverse direction tab here, deciding which direction you're supposed to go. So our direction is this way, and it's going to be based on the PDF. We are looking at 1/2 inch. And we want to make sure that it's merge results. Otherwise, the 2 parts won't merge. It doesn't look right. Click OK, and we have something like this. Now, there's 2 options to create the second part of this. On the other side, we can use mirror command, or we can use the linear pattern. So again, based on preference, I would say use the mirror command, because if we do decide to edit the base, you want to make it a little wider. The mirror is based on the center of it. It will just move them apart. If they're parallel, linear pattern, then it's based on your distance that you specified, which might not be exactly what you want. So keep that in mind. So we're going to go to our mirror command, but before we do that, we need an actual mirror plane. And I think I just want to make sure where my sketches are. So my right plane is here, which is not going to quite work out if I mirror it over that. So I actually have to create a plane, or I move the existing sketch so that the right plane is the center of the arc, the circle, and the rectangle. So we can do, actually, how did we design this part? Yeah, we can do that. So I'm going to go backtrack to our first drawing, which is standard. I mean, everything you design in SolidWorks, you will always backtrack and fix something, move something, change something. That's how it goes. That's what it's all about, engineering. So we're going to go back to our original sketch. Go to Edit Sketch. It's still showing me as extrudes. That's right. And we're going to change, we're going to delete this relationship. So we're going to select that marking right there, and you're going to use the delete command on your keyboard, or you can right click and delete completely. Next, we're going to move the whole setup. So to do that, we go to our move command, so move entities. We select the entire drawing. We go from to. So we keep the relationships, but we go from to. We have a start point. That's going to be our midpoint. So make sure you select that as a midpoint. And then we're going to select the origin. If you don't feel comfortable selecting the origin, you can go back to our tree. Let's make it simple. We'll just select the origin. That creates that. Here's a trick. I'm like, you designed it. You're like, well, it was, I thought it was defined completely. It's not, and you still can't figure it out, right? But this happens a lot. Plus, you want to save time, and you're like, oh, just want to make it a completed sketch. So what you can do is actually here where it says display delete relationships, you can have a full defined sketch. So this cuts your working time. It comes up with this tab. It asks you to calculate and stuff. I usually just click check mark because it's a simple drawing. and it creates the required entities, relationships to make it completely defined. So you can see it's all black now, it's all fine. So instead of figuring it out, taking my time to realize what's wrong with it, I know the drawing is perfect, it's just missing some probably relationship, and that does it automatically, which is, I think, genius. Sure. The corner relationship, if you go edit sketch, you select, well, I don't have it anymore, but you would select it and you would use your keyboard to click delete, or you can right click and there's a delete option. So that's what you want to do, and that would remove that relationship, making your drawing underdefined. Give me 1 second, I'll be right. Alright, so I have this completed. What I need to do next is I should have a plane. Well, actually now I have, my right plane is the center. So that's going to be our mirror plane. So we go to our features tab, we go to our mirror command, we select the plane, which is, if you go to the drop down menu here, right plane, and we go to features to mirror. That's what we want to do, because we don't want bodies to mirror, because the whole body would mirror itself. It's not right. You just want to mirror that feature that we just did, which is that top part. And click OK. That creates your cool design. Now, if some of you guys are already done, that's great. I recommend putting fillets on it. So have fun with that. The other ones who are still trying to get this one.
Actually, see if they can set the material for brass.
Yeah, brass density.
Calculate out the mass. We won't do the X, Y, and Z, but
Okay. So actually, we're going to finish this up with putting a material on it and checking out the density. So what you want to do is, on the left side here, you go to materials, you go right click on it, you edit the material. So you edit the material, and actually it's brass, so it's not steel, it's going to be under your copper alloys. So you can minimize the steel, or you can just scroll down and go to your copper alloys and hit that plus sign. There you'll see only one brass, which is what we want, this brass here. Now, looking at the density, that does not look correct. But then these are different units. These are SI. So what you want to do is change that to English, IPS. And that way you will see that 0.307 pounds per cubic inch density. And that's the correct one. I mean, they're all the same, but it's the different measurements, you know, used in different parts of the world. So we go to English, and you can click apply, and that will apply that material onto your object. You can exit out the material, so you can see like a golden brass kind of this color. If you don't see that, then you must have not clicked apply. Now the next step in this Lab1A is it's requesting us to check your density volume. So that's how we're going to test this out. If your drawing is correct, the volume should be correct. And to get that information, if you don't have this open up here, sometimes you have to hit that plus sign. You know, all that, this comes out. And we go to, where is it? Tools, mass properties. I'm going to leave that up for a little bit so you guys can catch where I picked it out. So I go to the Tools tab, and I go to Mass Properties. Select that Mass Properties, and I get my information. I got mass property of 2.05 pounds. If you don't have that, and you didn't do the fillets, then there is a problem with your drawing. So maybe you subtracted the wrong size diameter of the circles, or something happened. So this is how we're going to check your work sometimes. So keep that in mind. Just because it looks right doesn't mean it's right. That includes actually this tutorial.